should have spent the night in a cheap motel somewhere in Hickory. I left from home about 4:45, and that's the best things went for me. I lost my way at 85 and 40, and I lost my wallet too. Sure does hurt you when you don't eat right and you're drinking coffee like soup. 'Cause all I am is helpless, the wanderer inside. All I want is to roll with the tide. I don't want no worries.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Red Clay Music Foundry. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. I can undon my mask at this point. You folks in the audience, you're welcome. Once you get to your seats and get settled, you can take your mask off. If you get up and go to the lobby, please put them back on. We are trying to adhere to all the requirements that the governor and the state and everybody else has put on us. And we're going to continue to do that, but we're going to continue to have shows. In fact, we're about to increase the number of shows that we're having, and we'll do them safely, and we promise you that we will be clean and we'll be sanitized, and you can come in and we'll get you separated from other folks, and we hope you'll come back to see us. Now, this is a great opportunity right now for me to say hello to you folks that are watching online at EOP Live on YouTube. We do live stream all of our shows now because not only are we very proud of the shows that we have on the stage, but, and a big old but, big old but, there's a tip jar, and it's called PayPal, and there's a super chat on YouTube. There's actually two ways to tip, and we encourage and beg and plead and ask and nicely and scold you if you don't. Please, you folks on YouTube, please, please, please help us out. Lindsey needs it. I need it. We all need you to help us. So it's a weird time for folks in my business, and honestly, I don't think the virus is going away anytime soon, but we're gonna beat this thing, and we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna do it safely, but we're not going to let live music die, and we're not going to let the song die. And you folks that are in this room, thank you so much. You're brave and you're courageous, and you're probably just bored as hell staying at home too. And you know what? That's okay. That's a good reason to get out of your house. So thank you. Thank you for doing it. Now, as I mentioned before, when you go to the lobby, please don your mask. That's one of the requirements. We have a little phone number that if you would like to bring, if you would like us to bring you a cold beverage while you're sitting out here, we'll do that for you. You got one of those little slips when you came in. Just text where you are. You've got a seat, row, and number on your seat. Just tell them where you are, and we'll bring you whatever you want. But if you want to get up and go to the restroom or go to the bar, you're certainly welcome. Stay your 6 feet apart. Put your mask on. Do your thing. Come on back in. There is going to be one set this evening, one set of music. We'll start, and we'll zing on through, and we'll all go to the house and be home way, way, way early in time for Johnny Carson. So, because he don't come on till after 11 o'clock news. He'll be on 11:30. So we'll be all home for 11:30 and Johnny Carson. Hey, thank y'all for coming. I met Lindsey when she was just a pup. I mean, literally a pup. I'm talking about a wee lass. And she's been a fine performer and a fine crafter of song for a long time. And I'm so glad that she's here this evening. I always heard that there wasn't anything good comes out of Alabama except I-20, but that ain't true, because I met Lindsey Hinkle, and she's good too, and she comes out of Alabama. So I need you folks in this room right now to sound like you're 1,000 people and give a nice welcome to Lindsey Hinkle.
Oh, I hear that train coming. Oh, I it's rolling around and bend. This is the part where if I had a band, get to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hear that train coming, it's rolling round me, and I ain't seen sunshine since I don't know where I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Time keeps dragging on. Yeah, that train keeps rolling, baby, on down Ellington. When I was just a baby, my mama told me so. Always be a good boy and don't ever play with guns, but I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, baby, hang my head and cry. Well, I hear those rich folks singing and their friends are dying curls. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep moving, baby, and that's what haunts me, yeah. Oh, I hear that train. Oh, I hear that train. Oh, I hear that train, yeah. I hear that train. Oh, well, bring me from that prison. That railway car was mine. Probably just moved a little better down the line, far from that Folsom Prison. It's where I want to stay. And I left that lonesome whistle, baby, blow my blues away. Thank you. Anyway, so I have this fear that whenever I play that I'm going to sling the tambourine onto someone in the audience, and they may not be excited about it. So I'm releasing a new single, and I'm excited about that. It's the second one, and so I'm gonna talk a lot this show. I hope that's okay. But so I moved to Nashville. It'll be 2 years in January, and also I've been sober. I'll be sober 2 years, January 13th. And thank you very much. And this is the first time I've talked about it publicly. So you guys, I really appreciate you being here because I'm nervous. But anyway, so I hadn't written a song in 5 years prior to moving to Nashville.
And you know, they say like some people are more creative when they're jacked up, but I was not. And I didn't feel anything, so when I couldn't feel anything, I couldn't write. So I moved into a sober living home with several women, and one of them made it a little appropriate for me. And it's hard, you know, moving into a house and being a gay. So I thought that joke would go better in my head, so note to self. Don't use that one for the next show. Okay, so anyways, so life got a little difficult, and I stepped down for the first time and wrote this song about 3 days after being there, and then I knew this is kind of where I needed to be. So this song is called Bound to Fall, and my family is not too keen on the fact that I took some photos in a straitjacket, but after you hear the song, you'll know, and they're like, oh, well, she's lost it. Yeah. We liked her for a second, and then she went right back to being crazy. Her soul is like a dry spring. She thought I'd crawl inside and dance for rain, but she don't know me that well. No, she don't. She loves like a child without the innocence. She thinks she's the queen. She's Maleficent, and I am immune to her spell. And she loves everything she hates about me. She won't hurry up and wait to doubt me. She's wearing a straitjacket, walking a tightrope. Be the first to point a finger, thinking I fear her. But she won't take a good look in the mirror, and my street is clean, and I'm gonna be fine. So throw another stone, babe, I can take it. And if I had a heart, break it, 'cause Lord knows you love to do whatever feels good. And she loves everything she hates about me, and she won't hurry up and wait to tell me. She's wearing a straitjacket, walking a tightrope bound. Kind of love is just like heroin, poison in my veins and under my skin. But I won't be your heroin, babe. I can't save you, you're on your own. And she loves everything she hates about me, and she won't hurry up and wait down me. She's wearing a straitjacket, walking a tightrope bountiful. Her soul is like a dry spring. She thought I'd crawl inside and dance for rain, but she don't know me that well. No, she don't. Thanks, Dan. I love you all so much for being here. You don't know what it's like. For me, this is basically all my dreams come true this past year. I know 2020's been rough for everybody, but for me to actually release a single and, you know, you watch all these movies about people's lives when they're in the music business or whatever, like memoirs that turn into like movies, and there's that one moment, you know, where everything just makes sense. Like they come up with the line for the awesome song and they look up into the sky, you know, and or when they hear their song on the radio for the first time and they're dancing around, like that thing you do. My dad loves that movie, by the way, loves that movie. But hearing my song through the speakers of like a professional studio in Nashville was basically pretty much my lifelong dream, and getting to put it online. And if nothing else happens from that, I'm okay. Like, I mean, it was basically like being here, playing here tonight at Red Clay when I was a kid, like listening to Kristen Hall and Jennifer Nettles and Michelle Malone, and I knew like Kristen Hall and Eddie, they would do a song together on stage, and just being able to be here with all the history in Georgia. Georgia was always really good to me, and there's a joke in Nashville. One of my friends says that if we were from Georgia, we'd have a cut by now. But hopefully I'm going to bring the state of Alabama back. I mean, there's quite a lot of people, famous people from Alabama, but this song is on Spotify now, if you like it. I see some people with some t-shirts. And I'm going to be back here on February 13th, which is appropriate. So we can have an I Hate Valentine's Day show. It's funny because this song's about, like, love existing, and I'm playing at a wedding tomorrow, but, you know, things change. But this song, like, hearing it in Nashville was pretty amazing. So if you get a chance, it's actually really important if you follow people on Facebook and Spotify and Apple Music. So if you haven't done that already, please do that. But this song is called Love Exists. You've been waiting for so long for the right one to come around. But you've been going about it all wrong. You're not lost, baby, but you're gonna be found. And it's true, it's gonna happen to you. There's living proof, love. You're someone's thinking of. So don't be blue, whether you're 9 or 92. There's so much you haven't missed. You'll get your first last kiss. True love exists. So you think you've missed your chance, that you're too damaged now to find love anyhow. Well, stop looking, baby, and start loving yourself. Chase your dreams, don't go chasing anybody else, 'cause it's true, it's gonna happen to you. There's living proof, love. You're someone's thinking of. So don't be blue, whether you're 9 or 92. There's so much you haven't missed. You get your first last kiss. True love. It's gonna happen to you, babe. There's living proof, love. You're someone's thinking of. So don't be blue. Whether you're 9 or 92, there's so much you haven't missed. You get your first last kiss. True love exists, baby. True love exists, baby. Just got to play that here. Oh, so yeah, living the dream, man. That's crazy. And it didn't look like for a while there that I'd ever be back here. You know, sometimes you're your own worst enemy. And I debated on being vulnerable about that and talking about it, seeing as how it is kind of streamed worldwide. But I thought, you know what, why not? Because you never know, there might be somebody out there watching that be like, man, I could get my shit together, even if I'm 35 and do something. So yeah, so I was in the sober living, and I had to open up a house and bring people in, and it started out with me and 2 other people that had, I only had like 3 months at the time, and there were 2 other people that were supposed to have longer time than me, and it's in sobriety, and then all of a sudden they kind of dropped off, so they sent me a couple new people, and one of the girls, when she pulled up in the driveway, I just kind of knew that there was going to be some confrontation. She was very confrontational, and I am not. So it was definitely a way for growth for me, to learn how to like talk to people and stand up for myself without being a jerk. And we ended up being like great friends. And so like she ended up getting like a car and a Victoria's Secret credit card, which was a big deal at the time. And she, you know, she was doing really, really well. And so then I randomly drug tested the house, and hers was kind of iffy. And so we talked about it, and she was like, no, I haven't relapsed. But I was like, well, and you know, let's see how this goes. And then if we like want to pull you out of bed at 3 a.m, you're just gonna be cool with it, if that's okay. And she's like, yeah. So I'm at work, and she calls me, and she's like, hey man, I screwed up. I just thought I should let you know. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about it when we get home. And so we talked about it, and she had relapsed. And fortunately, I had to kick her out. That's kind of the rules of sober living. That's like the one rule. So it was awkward. And she was 23 years old, and it was just like, God, if I could have talked to myself at 23 and been like, you know, these are things you probably shouldn't do. And it's not like anybody ever wakes up and says, hey man, I want to be a drug addict. It's not like something that you choose openly in like a, you know, split second. It grows like a monster, and it just gets worse. And so anyway, so cut to about 6 or 8 months later, I get a phone call, and she actually overdosed and died. So in sober living, like people's addresses, they don't change a lot of times, don't change their address. And so during the pandemic, I kept getting mail from her, and I didn't have time to react because in the recovery community during the pandemic, everyone was dropping like flies. People were overdosing because they just didn't care anymore. They gave up. They lost their job. They didn't know the world was ending. And they just quit caring. And so it was like a daily thing, so I couldn't really feel feelings, and I felt responsible for the other girls, and I didn't want, if I showed a lot of emotion, then they might feel triggered, so I just had to like be cool through all of it. And but I still kept getting her mail. And so July 3rd, all the girls were gone doing 4th of July stuff, and I sat down and wrote this song in like 15 minutes maybe. It's called I Still Get Your Mail. You were the life of the party. Was the party worth your life? And I knew you were gonna be ahead said your room was the last one on the left. You said, hey, you're always right. Girl, you walked in the door, threw your bags on the floor, fist ready for a fight. When they told me your mama found you, it was 3 days till they pulled the plug. You had a lot of life left in you, darling, but lonely is a powerful drug. Now there's letters for a board that will never be paid for. I can't tell the post you don't live there anymore. Victoria's Secret, send me and you will sail that you're gonna miss. And those notes on your bathroom mirror, they told you you were worthy of love. Well, I still get your mail. You may have walked around wearing pink, but honey, you were singing the blues. And in a room full of strangers, you heard all the dangers of pills and booze. And when I got the call, you stumbled down the hall and said, I can't lie to you, friend. That on our front porch step wasn't your first step, but it was the last time I saw you again. Now there's letters for a board that will never be paid for. I can't tell the post you don't live there anymore. Victoria's Secret, send me and you will sail that you're gonna miss. And those notes on your bathroom mirror, they told you you're worthy of love. Well, I still get your mail. You were like a firecracker lighting up the sky on the 4th of July. You were colorful and full of wonder, then you just disappeared into the sky. If I could talk some sense into you that day, girl, at 23, get your shit together now, or you'll end up just like me. Instead, there's letters for a Ford that will never be paid for. I can't tell the post you don't live here anymore. Victoria's Secret, send me and you will sail that you're gonna miss. And those notes on your bathroom mirror, they told you you're worthy of love. I still get your mail. I still get your mail. Thank you. This is like open heart surgery, but while I'm wide awake, so don't feel awkward. It's cool. That's how writing is sometimes. But then for me, when I play it or when I get it finished, then it's like I close the book and it's kind of dealt with. But since that one's so emotional, I'll play you an old song I wrote to woo someone, if you will. I was 19 and very much crushing on a waitress in my hometown. So I wrote this song, and it's called Sense of Reality. It worked for like 5 years. I've got a picture of you and me tucked in my room so no one can see. And no, you're not staring back at me. It gives me comfort so I can sleep. I've only known you for a little while. I've never seen you without your smile. And when you stay get so nervous when you're around. Butterflies keep my feet off the ground, and I stumble like my hands are bound. I try to speak, but there's no sound, and I sigh without breathing, and I have thoughts without thinking, and I dream without sleeping. Oh, you've taken the best of me, a sense of reality. I sigh without breathing, and I have thoughts without thinking, and I dream without sleeping. Oh, you've taken the best of me. You've taken the best of me, baby. You've taken the best of me, a sense of reality. A sense of reality. So I'm gonna play you guys. This one's probably the most vulnerable for me personally. So I want to gotta get it out of the way because I've been like nervous about it. So once again, I know it looks like there's just a few of you, but in my head there's a lot of other people watching, and then the video is gonna be up, and then people are gonna watch that later, and hopefully they'll. Right? It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But I after I moved up, I also spent like 2 years being single for the most part, and so I didn't want to get like they say like you're supposed to wait a year, and I kind of stumbled on one the first year and realized that it was best just to be friends, and so then after that I was like no, I'm not gonna date. So part of like the recovery programs, you have a sponsor, and I'd gone through a couple. For whatever reason, it wasn't intentional. It just something would happen, and so I started going to a new meeting, and someone was introduced, and like I was talking in this meeting about how I needed a new sponsor, and so like they introduced this person. They're like, okay, well just call me every day, and I didn't really have a choice in the matter, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I did, and then before I knew it, I actually trusted this person pretty well, and then I started like opening up and then calling them every day, and then literally, not even kidding, I woke up one morning, sat straight up in my bed, and was like, holy crap, I'm in love. And that's not supposed to happen. It's frowned upon. Yes. Yeah, girl, tell me about it. Yes. So anyways, it was bad. So I had to tell said sponsor. And so I did, and then shortly after, like, well, this can't work, and so then I'm like, okay, and so I have all these people feeding ideas into my head, like they watched the episode of Wentworth, they're like, oh, she feels the same way, that's why she can't be your sponsor, and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh no, she's just working a program. I'm like, which one is it? So then I'm like trying not to think about her, so I download Tinder. Yeah. So I'm swiping right. Boom, 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 boom. Seeing friends, people I kind of know, and I'm like, it's like this unspoken weird secret. You're like, I saw you on Tinder, but you don't want to tell them because you're on Tinder. And like, especially musicians, because Nashville's a really small town, and for the gays, it's even smaller. And so anyway, so I like lined up these dates for like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm like, okay, like I got to get this woman out of my head. I need a distraction. And so then, of course, like right before I end up chickening out, I end up canceling them. I'm like, I can't do this. This is for the wrong reasons. And so then that Friday night, I stay up to wee hours of the morning writing a desperate love song. And then I commence to call and play it for said person. Yes, at 10 in the morning. Yep. Well, in my defense, also, a couple of people that I called before that, if she doesn't fall in love with you, she's an ice queen. And so I'm like, yes, this is gonna work. And of course, then I don't hear from her. So Then I'm like all in my head because I don't know what, and I don't want to text again. So like there's this gray period where I'm losing my mind. So I'm like, okay, you know what? There's still a couple people on Tinder, so I end up setting up a Tinder date. So I feel now that I should tell you about this Tinder date. So before I play the song, so I go to meet this person, and like we just talked on Tinder, so I didn't give her my actual phone number until the day of a few hours before. And so on Tinder, I had a nickname. I was lucky, and I did not like leave a lot of stuff about music or whatever because I'm like, I just want him to like me for really like deep reasons, my profile and just the photos. So so I'm like, I'm not gonna put that I sing. I'm like, I'm a server, you know. And so, which I am, by the way. Come to Stony River off West End in Nashville, and you will see me there. And so it supports this. And so anyway, so I meet her, and she has braces. You know, I mean, I was maybe at this point may or may not be like scraping the bottom of the pickle barrel, but she seemed like really nice, and she responded instantly. And so I was like, okay. So then one of my friends is like, what if she has a brace accent? And I'm like, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that still happens. I mean, there's been advances in orthodontics. People don't have a brace accent anymore. And so like I text her the address, and like she texts me like, I'm here, and then she walks up and she's like, hi, my name's Stephanie. It's really nice to meet you. And I'm trying not to laugh. Thank God for masks. Thank God. So then, like, we're at this place, and it's not that cool, and so we end up going to another place, and then we just talk. And once again, like, I haven't told her my real name, anything like that, and so she's sitting across from me, and the first thing that she says to me is, just so you know, it's okay you're wearing the same blazer you had on Friday night. How did she know? That was my first thought. Like, how do you know? And then she's like, and by the way, I was listening to your Spotify playlist all day, and I just have one question. Who hurt you? And she did her head just like that. So at this point, I'm like, fuck is going on? Then she grabs my phone, which was an older phone, and she's like, how old is your phone, silly? And I'm like, how do you know these things? And so when I give her my number, Apple just sent her my first last name photo. Then she went to Google and Instagram. So she was on my Instagram, then went to Spotify, listened to my public playlist, like all this stuff. So she already knew all this stuff about me. And so I was like, man, this is a bag of crazy. And so there's like they're passing around a guitar at this place, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of this, because they didn't want to hurt anybody. So I'm like, okay, I see you're crazy, and I raise you. This is a desperate love song I wrote 2 days ago. So then I play the song, and I'm thinking, man, she's gonna run head for the hills. It's done for. And so I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. So then at the end of the date, like I lean in for the hug, and she's like, and then I'm like, no, and she's like plays it off. She's super cool about it, and then she's like, so I just have one question. I really like your dog. I saw you have a German Shepherd, but I know you're sober, but can the dog smell drugs? I was like, why are you asking me? And she's like, well, I don't do drugs, but I mean, if they were around, could your dog smell them? And I'm like, seriously? Like, seriously, this is a problem. Like, this is something we're talking about. So I deleted Tinder the next day. No offense to any of you that still may use dating apps, but I deleted it promptly after, and they wanted feedback, and I love to give a good feedback, you know, like some honest criticism as to why. I didn't want them to think it was like something they did, you know. And I said that it seemed like only sad and lonely people were on here, and I didn't want to be those anymore. So I deleted it. And so yeah, and then plot twist, like I'm releasing this song. This is when I'm in the studio now recording, and so I think I'm gonna call it Anonymity Song, because whenever anybody, she's also like may or may not be kind of famous, this said person, and she may or may not know people, and so she really like understood. And I didn't know any. This is the thing, I didn't know any of this about her until like later on, which made it even cooler. And so I totally respect her privacy about everything. So no one will ever know her name, but I think it's not creepy at all. Does your dog smell drugs? Do it. Tell us. It's just us. But anyway, so I think I'm going to call this Anonymity Song, which is going to be really hard for people to pronounce. It's going to be like a Finding Nemo situation. It's Anonymity Song. But when we would talk, every time I would talk to her, she would always be moving or leaving a couch. And I'm like, why? And then I was just like, you know what? You can just tell me that you don't want to talk. You don't have time to talk. You don't have to keep making up excuses about a couch. And so then when I went to her house the first time, we sat on it. She's like, see, I hate it. It's not the same size that I ordered. So she literally had went through like 3 couches and she hated her couch. So now you know the story behind the song.
We both live our own lives separately together. I tell you all my secrets, then you talk about the weather. And we both have quite a grasp on the art of deflection. When I look into your eyes, all I see is my reflection. So when you stand in front of me, I started to like what I see. Then the sun just rose one morning, and my first thought without warning was of you drinking coffee on that couch that you hate, praying you won't notice, but by now it's overlap for me to even worry if I made a mistake. And I could live without you, but I don't want to. I laid all the cards out on the table, and you just brushed them all to the side. There's no game, no deal, no gamble, just a smile that you can't hide. It's almost more than I can take, sitting around waiting for which move you're gonna make. The sun just rose this morning, and my first thought without warning was of you drinking coffee on that couch that you hate, praying you won't notice, but by now it's hopeless for me to even worry if I made a mistake. I could live without you, but I don't want to. If you don't want to, and maybe you're cooking fine cuisine, dancing to French music, a queen in that kitchen that was the last room you didn't pay, taking 9:30 shower, and then about an hour you're laying down in that bed that you made. But the sun will rise in the morning, and my first thought without warning is gonna be of you drinking coffee on that effing couch that you hate, praying you won't notice, but by now it's overlap for me to even worry if I made a mistake. That I could live without you. Oh, I can live without you, but I don't want to. If you don't want to,
was like, call her. Who said that? No, it's weird. No, now I have a nice gay male sponsor. We wear the same cologne, so it's appropriate. No, like literally, we were like, oh my God, I wear Aquadisio. You wear Aquadisio. You smell fantastic. You smell fantastic. So when I first moved due to Nashville, I had like this plan for like a year. I was going to focus solely on getting my shit together because I didn't have a car, didn't have a place to live, didn't have any money, didn't have a job, didn't have any friends. And so, I mean, I pretty much just alienated. That was my fault. I mean, I alienated everyone. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get my crap together, and then I'm going to pop out a kid. And I feel like for me, it would be a really easy pregnancy because it's like these were made for babies. And I feel like after 9 months, like I would literally just like walk down the sidewalk and sneeze and baby. Like it would be an easy thing for me. So it was like this plan. And Tennessee has this great like first care for women. And so I was like, you know what? It's cool. It's going to happen. And so around Christmas, I started talking to my mom about it right before my 1 year was up. And I was like, look, I think I'm going to get pregnant and I want to have a kid. She's like, and I'm like, Mom, no, like we're having like this really serious discussion. And I'm like, Mom, no, I want a little mini, you know, Kenneth or a mini Debbie, you know. I want to carry on the Hinkle name. And so she was like, you know, I think you're putting all these expectations and you're kind of doing this for the wrong reasons. And I was like, well, I mean, what are the right reasons? And she was like, well, maybe you should just like see how this next year goes and like do some of the things you wanted to do, and then if you still, and I was like, no, 35 was like my time frame, because after that there's lots of risk or whatever. And she's like, you know, it'll happen if it's going to happen. And so I made the decision, you know, to wait. And I had written this song to said unborn child. So whenever we did meet, or whenever they got, we met, that was awkward. How does that happen? But like whenever they were old enough, they would know that they've been wanted and loved for a very long time. And so I ended up getting a dog during COVID, and I bring Brandy, it's her name because she's in fact a fine girl, and bring Brandy home. And Mom's like, look, Kenneth, it's your granddaughter. I was like, you were horrible. Like, and she did it twice. So now I've decided that I'm dressing Brandy up. And for Christmas, when all the other kids open gifts, like Brandy will have her own gift that she'll get to open, and she will be treated just like the other children. There will be no other way. I'm like, it's your grandkid. But this song's called All Your Life. And, I don't know what the future holds. They say when you make plans, God laughs. So maybe I'll pop one out, maybe I won't. But either way, it's gonna be okay. So. And I got a dog out of it, so we have a dance routine. So whenever I get like TikTok going, I'm working on it. Maybe you'll see it. But she's pretty amazing. Yeah, so that's my child. Maybe I wrote this song for her. Who knows? Still not quite in tune. Just talk amongst yourselves. Here's a topic. Why do people park on driveways and drive on parkways? Discuss.
From the moment you take your first breath, you'll be cold and shaking, scared to death. They'll bundle you up warm and tight, and I won't let you out of my sight. But you're not even born yet. You're just a sparkle in
not even born yet. You're just a sparkle in my eye. You're not even here yet. I'm gonna love you, oh, love you like. But I've got some holes to fill, some blocks to build, gotta tie up some loose ends. I've got some steps to take, some walls to break before I let you in. And child, when you need someone to care, look over your shoulder and I'll be there. And if your heart gets cold and you have doubts, I'll be the one to help you out. But you're not even born yet. You're just a sparkle in my eye. You're not even here yet. I'm gonna love you, oh, love you like. Child, I'm gonna love you, oh, love you like. Is it weird that I got a little emotional thinking about my dog? So I started after I moved to Nashville. Another thing was I wrote a couple songs where I scream, and then I didn't have a voice for a while. And after about 3 months happened, then I was like, okay, this is serious. And I ended up going to Vanderbilt, which is pretty well known for vocal therapy in Nashville. And so I paid a lot of money for them to look down my throat with a camera, only to tell me that, because I mean, the only thing that could cause my throat to be consistently raspy would be nodules or cancer. And so I had to kind of rule those two out. And so they were like, no, your throat's fine. And so we had to do a bunch of tests, a bunch of other tests, and they had to hook me up to other machines. And long story short, it's stress. So I get so nervous. And that's the one thing I love about this venue is I get to hide downstairs. I'm actually not allowed to come out, but peopling before a show makes me extremely nervous. Because now I'm extremely aware of everything. Did I get that chord? Did I change those strings? Is it going to stay in tune? Did I thank this person? And I have like all these names on my hand, which by the way, please can everyone give a big round of applause to Tom, who's out doing the merch out front, and Corey, who's doing lights tonight. And yes, Shalom. And he's doing the amazing sound. He's also known me since I was a kid of a boy. We don't want to talk. It was just a few years ago. And then also, obviously, Mr. Eddie Owen. So please give him a round of applause for keeping this place open and giving people like me a chance to fulfill literally their lifelong dream. I would not be here if it weren't for him. And he's given so many other artists like myself a place to start, a place to come back. And always a home. Always everyone treats me like family here. Whether it's been months or years, when I come back, it's like I never left. And I'm so lucky to be a part of it. And then Miss Heather for helping out with merch and volunteering her time, because it's really hard with not being able to put full capacity for a venue to keep it open. So please make sure to buy some Cokes, cookies, whatever they have back there. Please make sure to do that so they can stay open. But so anyway, so after that, I realized it was nerves, and so I tense up before a show, and then I had to basically relearn how to scream and how to sing, which is still something I'm working on. But when COVID happened, everybody had their own way of dealing with it, and so I Nashville had a tornado, then we had the pandemic, then we had the riots, and I could literally smell downtown Nashville burning one night at work. And so it was like a really scary time. And so I sat down and started writing a song. So. Thank you for laughing. That would have been weird if you hadn't laughed. Like, it would have been so weird. This is like online everything, so they would have heard the silence and the crickets. So thank you for that. Oh, I should have like prepped some of my friends, like, okay, I'm gonna have this joke and I'm gonna be really dry about it. So make sure that you laugh at the appropriate time. But literally, I grew up in what they call Tornado Alley back in Alabama, a little community called Knightons Crossroads, and we had several tornadoes that came through. We had a tree blown on top of our roof. We had a next door neighbor who was a young boy that was killed, and it's just tragedy after tragedy because it's like a valley. So when the tornado would come through, it would just kind of stay. And so everyone says that it sounds like a freight train, and it never fails. Whenever the news does catch hold of a local, they find the most redneck-looking guy, and he's like, and there it was. It sounded just like a freight train, and I said, Bernice, get in the trailer. And you know, it's one of those situations, and it's not usually like that. You know, it's not like that. But they always find that person to interview, and it was my cousin. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so everyone's like, oh, it sounds like a freight train. And I literally lived by a house that had a freight train. It does not sound like a freight train. That's the best description. But after you live right next to one, you're very in tune to what it sounds like. And so when it was coming over Nashville, I literally was listening to it, and it was such a big tornado. And it sounded like this apocalyptic monster that was coming out of the sky that was going to eat us all alive. And so it was like this deep growl. And during this time, everyone, like I said, was dropping like flies. And so I found that I have, like, every person kind of has two sides to them. And every time you make a decision, you decide, I'm going to make a good decision or I'm going to make a bad decision. And in times of stress and fear, we end up making somewhat rash or bad decisions. And it's like this monster that just like crawls up my back and whispers these things in my ear and kind of tempts me, and I choose not to listen to it, but sometimes it's louder than others. So this particular time, that particular monster was breathing hard on my neck, and you know, I wasn't dating, I didn't want to hurt anybody, but there was so much frustration of all kinds during that time of my life. And so I wrote this song, and it's from the perspective of my disease and that monster basically that screams and breathes down my neck. So it tells me that I can't do anything, that I'm not capable of love, I can't do anything without being drunk or high. So this song's called The Beauty of the Beast. I mean, I'll have a voice after this, so we're going to see how much longer the show's going to go. Baby, I know you better than you know yourself. Let me block out the world, but pretend there's no one else. You know who I am, but you won't introduce me to your friends. So I'll chew you up and spit you out, then swallow you again. Then I'll scratch my nails down your back so you'll know where I've been. 'Cause you don't know how to love or make love to anyone without me. Oh, do you hear that sound? That sky crying. She's splitting all the trees and the wind is howling. And I'll stretch you to the point you won't break when you release. 'Cause baby, that is the beauty of the beast. My lies are ruining you, baby. never lower or higher without me before. Do you hear that sound? That's God Riley. She's splitting all the trees and the wind is howling, and I'll stretch you to the point you won't break when you release. 'Cause baby, that is the beauty of the beast. Oh, that's the beauty of the beast. Do you hear that sound? That's God Riley. She's splitting all the trees and the wind is howling, and I'll stretch you to the point you won't break when you release. 'Cause baby, that is the beauty of the beast. It's the beauty of the beast. Oh, that's the beauty of the beast. Thanks, you guys. So I played this song here last time, and I got a couple more. And this one is a similar situation. I wrote this, and I was with someone, and then in walks this crush that I'd had for like 10 years. She was a nurse. She could quote the entire monologue of The Grinch, and loved Patty Griffin and Beth Hart as much as I did. So I thought it was meant to be. And every time we would run into each other, though, they were with someone else, or I was with someone. So our paths never crossed. Well, in they walk in my life, and I'm in this relationship that's crumbling. It's deteriorating, but we work together, we live together. And I'm monogamous, and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to work this out because I've put all of my little eggs in one basket. So I want to see it through. But it was hard. And so I write to vent, and it's just so you know, it's really difficult to date a songwriter or to be a songwriter and try to write because, you know, I can hide in the back bedroom, but eventually they're going to catch on when I'm in there silently saying, I wish I was with someone that's not you. They pick up on that, you know, that little ditty. And then questions start happening. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I express these feelings without them knowing? And so at the time, I wasn't drinking. I wanted to drink really badly, which is different now, because now I don't want to drink as much. You know, I mean, there's times when I get nervous, but it's not like it was before. Because now I know I can't just like drink like normal people, but before I hadn't quite accepted it. So I was like, that sounds pretty good. And so I wrote this song. It's appropriately titled, Leave Me Alone. Let's tune. I bet all the video editing people are like, gosh, get it together. Maybe I should do that intro again. So this song is appropriately titled, Leave Me Alone. I wish I could wrap my hands around your neck. I bet you'd calm me down. And if I pulled you to my lips, I bet you'd burn a little going down. I imagine you taste just like a witch's brew. Won't so bad, never be the same. You're like a cold fire that I'm attracted to, and I'm drawn like a moth to a flame. But leave me alone. I got mine of my own. You're all I've ever known. So baby, leave me alone. it's fragile, and there's ice when you sweat. But there's so much of you I haven't tasted yet. And when I drink you, I'm sure to forget all the bad decisions that I haven't made yet. So leave me alone. I got my own, but you're all I've ever known. So baby, leave me alone. Wrap me up with leather and fill me with sand. Give me all the punches that I can withstand, baby, 'cause I'll never be sober and I'll never be sane. Damn you for knowing how much I like the pain. Leave me alone. I got a mind of my own, but you're all I've ever known. So baby, leave me alone. Baby, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Baby, leave me alone. Oh, baby, leave me alone. Thank you. So this next song, I wrote about a stripper. It's a little unknown fact, but I did. She did have this Cinderella dress that she wore to some dance, and I was out of town for a show, and she asked me if she could go, and I was like, I don't care. But then she ended up going with one of my exes, and then they're like happily ever after for a while, which was really weird. So I knew she looked beautiful. She looked like Cinderella in the dress, and she did have clear plastic stilettos, which would have, would be glass had it been a fairy tale or nightmare, you call it. So I said, feeling sorry for myself on her front porch when I got back, because she was still out of town, and packed up my stuff and wrote this little song. So it's called Enough. Cinderella, go to your ball. Don't pay me any mind at all. Just let me put those glass stilettos on your feet, so you can stand tall while you walk over me. 'Cause you won't answer whenever I call. You won't like me when the curtain falls. You say you love me, but I'm making it tough. 'Cause I've got everything but enough, but enough. Sleeping Beauty, don't pay attention when I talk. 'Cause I know in mid-conversation you're gonna nod off. You may be a princess, but your castle's missing. 'Cause you let me slip right through your hands. 'Cause you won't answer ever I call. And you won't like me when the curtain falls. You say you love me, but I'm making it tough. 'Cause I've got everything but enough, but enough, enough, enough. tried to love you, but you made it tough. No, I've got everything and I've had enough. Oh, enough, enough, enough. So Cinderella, go to your home. Don't bring me in mind at all. Caw, caw. Shalom and I have a secret language. It's not the word he said to say. Changed a little bit. While he's getting that ready, I just want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for being here, and for those of you who may have been in my life before, and I've put through some things with my craziness. I want to apologize and let you know that I appreciate you still loving me through it, because if you're here, then you must have anyway. And I'm getting better every day. Each day, I'm a little bit better than I was yesterday. And thanks for just like being here and being a part of the journey. So I love you guys. So I have this little loop pedal, and we had to have a secret code for when it was time to use it. And this is live, so if it messes up, he said to blame him. You are my sun, you are my earth. You didn't know all the ways I loved you, no. You took a chance, better plan. I bet you didn't think the thing would come crashing down, no. You don't have to say what you did, I already know. Girl, the problem is, now there's just no chance for you and me. There'll never be. Don't make a sound about it. Tell me you love me, why'd you leave me all alone? You tell me you need me when you call me on the phone. Girl, I refuse, you must have me confused with some other guys. Bridges will burn, now it's your turn to cry. Cry me a river, cry me a river, girl. Cry me a river, cry me a river, girl. Yeah. You know that they say some things are better left unsaid. It wasn't like it when you talk to him and you know it. Don't act like you don't know it. All these things people told me keep messing with my head. You should have done see, then you may not have blown it. Yeah, you don't have to say what you did, I already know. Girl, the problem is now there's just no chance for you and me. There'll never be. Don't make you sad about it. Tell me you love me, why'd you leave me all alone? You tell me you need me when you call me on the phone. Girl, I refuse, you mustn't be confused with some other guys. Bridges will burn, now it's your turn to cry. Cry me a river, cry me a river, girl. Cry me a river, cry me a river, girl, yeah. just done so I guess I believe that. Cry me, cry me. Cry me, cry me. Cry me, cry me. Cry me, cry me. You don't have to say what you did. Oh, no, baby. You don't have to say what you did. Oh, no, baby. You don't have to say what you did. I already know, baby. You don't have to say what you did. I already know. I already know. Cry me, cry me, yeah. Cry me, cry me, yeah, baby. Cry me, yeah. Cry me. Ooh. Thanks, girl. So I had a couple submitted, so we had to do the two that I have with the loop back to back. This one is a surprise to you all because there was one I thought I was going to play, but my sidekick messed up a little bit in sound check, so we're going to go with plan B. So there's a part in here where I used to hold the note out as long as I could, and I don't have the same stamina that I did before because I don't sing as much. Shut up. Because I don't sing as much, so we're gonna see how this goes. It's gonna be fun. No one knows this. Shalom doesn't even. He's like, what is happening? I'm so confused. So precious. Yeah. See how this goes. So I have one more. I think this lighting's perfect. I know one song on harmonica, so it's going to be my last one, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I can't thank you enough for being here tonight and being in the spotlight. It's so cool. I know I should act like normal, but I'm never going to, so just get used to that. I will always be awkward. I feel like it's just in my blood and part of who I am. If I could be a rock star, I'd be one by now. So yeah, if you ask me another song, it would be Red River Valley. This one and the one other I was planning, which I will play next time. So February 13th, mark a calendar. Please come back. I might be even playing piano. You never know. But I'm slowly adding more things to my live show as I can afford them. So this guitar is named Valerie. I love her. And I didn't have a decent guitar. I pretty much pawned all the stuff I had. Yeah, Valerie! So I got this one, and so yeah, I'm adding more stuff. So next time, so don't go anywhere. Come back, and please follow and like all the things. So. Thank you. So awkward. My name's Lindsey Hinkle. Thank you all so much. See you out there, okay?